And welcome back to this special edition of Hannity. Now, we just heard from Minnesota Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann. Well, now it's the former CEO of Godfather's Pizza, Herman Cain's turn to tell us why he thinks he is the best person to take on President Obama in 2012. How's it going so far?
Sean, it is going fantastic. Now, our strategy all along has been to develop a very strong ground game. You know, the top-down game was you got high name ID, you got a lot of money, and you've held public office before. Well, our approach has been, I don't have either one of those. So let's go out and meet the people, talk to the people, share those common sense ideas that I've been talking about how we solve problems in this country, and it's been resonating with people. The second thing that's resonating with people, which is why I do believe that I'm now performing as well as I am in terms of the polls, is my problem-solving background. People want problems solved, not kicked down the road. And I think that that's resonating. And I believe that that's why many people are responding to me, even though I didn't start with the war chest. I didn't start with that real high name ID. And I also think, based upon the reaction from people around the country, more and more people are ready for someone different in the White House with a business background as a problem solver and not just another politician.
It's funny because you just ran into Bob Beckel before you came out here,
yes.
and he says to you, "Where did you come from?"
And my answer was, my mama. Now, if he's talking about the polls, where I came from was getting out there and doing old-fashioned retail politics.
Where did Obama come from? I mean, that's my question back to him. Let me ask you this, because you've never held office before.
Yes.
All right. You say you have a standard stump speech.
I say, well, most of the people in Washington, D.C. have. How's that working out for us?
Which is a great line.
We are looking at a debt crisis. The economy is stuck. It's stalled. We're in these wars, and we don't have any idea what victory looks like. And you're going to tell me that having previous office holding experience is a good thing? I don't think so.
How does your background, for those that don't know, you can give a little biography of yourself, but you were the CEO of Godfather's Pizza.
Yes.
It was a major turnaround under your leadership, right?
Yes.
Why don't you tell everybody a little bit why you think your background would better qualify you coming from the private sector?
I'll be like, let's go all the way back to when I went to Pillsbury. I worked at the Pillsbury Company and climbed the corporate ladder before it was cool for a black guy to be vice president. So I became a vice president at the Pillsbury Company. Why? They gave me a very complex, difficult problem to solve, and I solved it.
What was the problem?
The problem was they had a world headquarters project where they were trying to move people from 9 locations around the Twin Cities into the Pillsbury World Headquarters building. I had to manage the completion of the World Headquarters building. I had to manage the building and construction of a new computer data center. I had to manage the acquisition of a new computer, and I also had to manage the integration of Green Giant with the Consumer Products Division. When I took over this project, it was behind schedule and over budget. And we finished ahead of schedule and below budget. It was a complex problem. I was able to put together a team, and we solved it. Then I went to Burger King. I went to Burger King, and I was assigned Burger King's worst region in terms of profits, growth in sales, morale, new store development, all of the major metrics. In 3.5 years, the region was the best in everything. I'm a problem solver. Then when I went to Godfather's, it was supposed to go bankrupt. Pillsbury had already decided that they were going to write it off, but I didn't get the memo. And the people in the company didn't get the memo. What did I do? What's the right problem? Surround myself with good people. Put together the right plans in order to fix the problem, and we did. And to this day, Godfather's has not gone bankrupt. The skills that I used to solve problems in the business sector, including the National Restaurant Association when I was the full-time CEO and president of the National Restaurant Association, those skills, I believe, are applicable leading this nation. That's why I believe people are responding.
To what extent, if you look at Obama's background, and I've looked at it exhaustively, extensively, before the election and all during his presidency here, one of the biggest problems I see in his background, hung out with radicals, has extreme views, and never met, not that I can see, ever met a payroll. I have. You have.
Yes.
And in my much smaller way than, I was never the vice president of Pillsbury.
Right.
I was never, the CEO of Godfather's, but in my own way, when it taught me so much when people were dependent on me to keep my business running because they had mortgages to pay. I was a young kid. I still had to, live up to my side of the bargain. What is the difference? I mean, do you think he's even qualified based on his lack of business experience?
No, and here's why. Leaders, first of all, they know how to listen. Yeah. They know how to ask the right questions. So if you've never been in a situation where you had to create jobs, lead a business, or challenge your advisors, you don't know the right questions to ask. This is why the president's economic policies have failed. He had 5 people that he trusted in that made up his senior economic advisory team. The only one that's still left is Tim Geithner.
The tax cheat.
You're right, the tax cheat. That's the only one that's left. Leaders know how to listen, and they know how to ask the right questions in order to get to the right plan.
But isn't the problem with him, as you analyze him, is that his rigid ideology gets in the way of his ability to ask questions that maybe he doesn't want to hear the right answers to, and then he surrounds himself with people that just totally agree with him?
You're absolutely right. Not only is his rigid ideology, which is government is better, so let's make government bigger. All you have to do is look at what he has done. But it is also not having any real-life practical experience running anything. That's how you learn how to ask those right questions, and that's how you learn how to challenge the people that are giving you this advice so you can put together the right plans.
And still ahead, much more with presidential candidate Herman Cain. Now, he knows he's the underdog in the race, but he promises he will soon become a front runner. So how does he pull this off? His strategy coming up on this special edition of Hannity. Straight ahead.